Welcome to our second episode with Prophet Agent. You're most welcome to the Senior Citizens Talk.
Thank you so much. So, Apostle Eugene Lubangi is a founder of the ministry called Shalom Temple Church in Kenya as a refugee. I came to Kenya as a refugee, who I am up to date, and I am still a refugee, living in Kenya, married to a Kenyan woman,
Oh,
a founder of a ministry, as I said, Shalom Temple Church. And I am also a gospel artist. You know, we Congolese, we like music. Yeah, so I am also a gospel artist.
would love to listen
And
to
that is Prophet Apostle Eugene Lubangi. Nothing more. I'm not a businessman. I don't have any other business except preaching the gospel, which brought me even here in Uganda.
There is this a testimony you're giving about how you got saved. Tell us
Yes.
that.
When I came to Kenya as a refugee, I have to look at means of surviving. Because by the time I reached in Kenya, the refugees were not in camps. They were already, they were living in town, urban areas. Because in Kenya we have urban refugees and we have also the refugee who lives in camps. But by the time I leave, those who were living in the urban who have already been changed and been taken somewhere as a camp. And those who remain there. So when I entered, I have to stay there because I found some already living there. So I was living there. Then since I have a calling of music in me, then I started doing secular music in order to be able to survive in the foreign country because I have nothing else to do. I cannot be employed. I cannot do business because there's no documentations. So I have to do music to help myself survive. Now, that is Apostle Eugene Lubangi and how I got in Kenya and what I was doing and what I am still doing in Kenya. So as I was doing music in Kenya, one of our colleagues in our band, we quarreled in a club at night. Then we were about to fight. Then they dispersed us. So when I went home, he was not living together with me. That was in 2002. Now, the man was not satisfied. He was older than me. He was older than me, and he was at least has some muscles more than me. I was looking very thin, and he was big. So he decided to attack me to my house at 2 a.m. of night to come and discipline me. Because when we quarreled, he insulted me as a thief. He told me, you are a witch. You are a witch. It pained me a lot. In the clubs, you are insulting me in front of people that I'm a witch. I have never witched you. Even if I go to the witch doctors, which I did, but it is for my own protection, for my own survival. But even if I am a sinner, I know, God knows, I have never witched anybody. It was for my own interest. So the insult pained me a lot. Now, out of anger, I wanted also to do something that will make him also feel the way I feel. Then I promised him to kill. I said, I give you 3 days, I will go to the witch doctors whom you said, and I will kill you with witchcraft because you have never been witched. Because if you have been witched, you cannot say what you are saying. But since you call me a witch, you are shaming me in front of these people in the clubs, then I will go and seek witchcraft and kill you. So that words also pain him also. He also felt bad. Why did I say that? Then I went to the band leader who was his cousin, our boss. I told him the story. Then he told me, no, you just go home. Then it was on a Sunday. On Monday, we will come and discuss about it. There's nothing more about it. So he took it as a normal thing whereby men just quarrel themselves. So I accepted. It was 10 p.m. Then I left. I went home. My house was about something like 300 meters from the place where we were playing music. In fact, by that time, I already left the group. I was no longer doing music because there was some time where I felt sick with tonsils. So I could not sing because in our band, I was the lead vocalist and the lead animator. We call him Atalaku in Lingala. And also a dancer. So I was playing a big role in the band. So when I felt sick with tonsils, there was no way I could sing again. So I had to stay home following the instructions of the doctors. But the man who paid us salary said, no, he's not sick, because I saw him moving around. He has tonsils. It's not like malaria. It's not like something that can put you in bed. I'm feeling pain here. I cannot sing anymore, because if I sing, I will tormenting myself. They refused to pay me salary, because we have a law in our group that if you are sick that week, even if you didn't go to work because of sickness, they will still pay you. But they refused to pay me. So I got angry. I say, I leave your group. So I stayed home almost a month without doing music. I am still home. So that night, some of our friends who are journalists, the person is still alive. His name is Philip Onyango. He was a journalist of Nation, a newspaper in Kenya. He came to the club where my friends were playing music. He said, no, we are missing that man. Why is he not around? He was asking the band leader. Then the band leader answered him that, that man is angry. He said because he did not get his salary, now he is just staying home, he's not doing anything else. He said, no, that man is a very, very powerful asset in this team. He must come. Call him to come here. Then at 8 p.m. I saw a call. I was in my house with my wife. I saw a call of a person whom I knew. Where are you? I said, no, I'm home. He said, no, just come here. Then I told my wife, let me go to that club. Somebody's looking for me, because my wife also knew that man. My wife said, we are going together. I said, no. You see, by then I was not drinking. Me, before I got saved, I was not drinking alcohol or smoking anything that can make me feel drunk. I never do that before I got saved. I was not doing it. It was not my attitude, my character. So I said, no, I cannot go with you to the club whereby they will bought soda for me and bought for my wife. I can't do that. I'm coming. My wife forced me. You see that act of my wife forcing me to go together with her? I can say I wish I listened to her voice, but it is now past. All glory to God. So I forced myself to go. She remained home with the children. Now when I was there, when I entered, the customers who knew me, they start shouting, Junior, 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 because they were calling me Junior then. So they thought I am now back, I'm coming to sing, because they have been missing me a lot. So I identified the table where my boss was sitting, my former boss was sitting, with this man, the journalist who was our friend, and also another brother from our country. He was also a musician, but he lives in Nairobi. That's where he does his music. His name is Lesasa. He's known in Nairobi. He has his band. So he was there also. They were together. There were 3 people on the table. So I joined them. I greeted my elder brother, who is a Congolese who lives in Nairobi. Young man, where are you? Why are you not around? I said, don't worry, my big brother, I'm here. Then I greeted my former boss, the owner of the band. Then I greeted the journalist who called me. Then we sat down. Then the journalist asked me a question in front of them. Why are you not playing again? Then I answered him. They refused with my salary. How can I survive? When they refused my salary, do they think how I will survive as a foreigner in this country? I said, no. So what I want, you have answered me. Even your boss told me the same thing. But I want to say this in front of your boss. From today, you must resume to work. Your salary, I will be the one to pay you every week. Then my former boss said, no, it cannot work like that. If he works, he must earn his salary. If you want to give him another salary, that's your agreement with him. Because he is still my young boy. He is still my musician. But if you decide that, it's okay. But me, I will still pay him. Then I said, okay, then I will have double salary. It's okay, no problem. As we were discussing there, they finished playing. Because on Sunday they played, they finished at 10. When they finished, all the musicians came there, greet our elder brother from Nairobi, Lesasa, and the journalist, because they were our visitor. When they greeted them, they also greeted me as their young brother, because I was young. The name of Junior, it was women who gave me that name those years. I don't know, the Kenyan women nicknamed me Junior because I was looking so young in the group. I was the youngest in the group.
Okay.
They were all elders. Only one man who was a bass guitarist player, he was the one we had the same age. But if you look at our bodies, he is at least bigger than me. So the ladies called me Junior in the team. So all of them greeted us there. They left us because they cannot sit where the boss are. So they went and stay aside there. So we remained there with the bosses. But when one person came, the cousin of the former boss, when he came, he greeted all of them. He didn't greet me. He just passed and went. He's my elder brother. What could I do? I kept quiet. I have no problem with him. But when I entered, he said something in a Proverbs. Can I repeat that Proverbs in our mother, in our language in Congo? He said, Masu atasoke katani mokila, me mutu ezo continue kaka. Donc, that means a train, when the wagon stops, is being when the wagon are being disconnected to the head will continue because it is the head who carries the engine, not the wagon. So when it has been disconnected, the head will continue, the wagon will remain. So I am the wagon. So they are still continuing. So I heard that Proverbs very, very well. And I knew it was me he was drawing stone to. I kept quiet. I just sat there. So when he did not greet me, he just passed. Then I stayed there. Then I said, oh, let me go to the washroom, then come back. When I went, the place they were sitting, it was the place where everybody must pass when you want to go to the washroom. So when I passed there, I didn't greet anyone because they have already greeted me. So I passed. I finished my business there. When I was coming back, one of them, another one, an elder, a dramalist, said, you young brother, how can you pass your elders like this without greeting them? I said, no, brother, you have already greeted us. I am sitting with boss there. I said, oh, you were there, oh, no problem. Then the same man who did not greet me, the cousin to the former boss, said, why are you forcing a witch to greet us? We have no need of a greetings from a witch. It pains me. That's where now the quarrel started. I said, why are you calling me a witch? Look at me and you. You are older than me. People like me more than you. I have a lot of fans. I know how to dance. I have a beautiful voice. You cannot stand with me anyhow. Even the way I am not playing right now, you are suffering a lot because you have a burden to cover my part, which you cannot. It pains him also. He took a bottle, he wanted to beat me. Then they have to grab him, then the fight started there. Then he insulted me, you are a witch. That's when I answered that answer, that you have been accusing me to be a witch. Now I give you 3 days, I will go and look for witchcraft and kill you because you have never been witched. I also answered out of anger because he provoked me. Then I left there, I went to the table. I told the boss, look at that man, your cousin. He's attacking me, want to beat me. He said, no, you are bringing shame at the place of work. Go home, tomorrow we'll talk about that. That's how I left them, I went home. As I was in my home at 2 a.m., he came with others to attack now to beat me because they said the boss has protected me. So they have to attack me. During the testimonies, I came to understood that before he attacked me, he told his elder brother, who is his cousin, our former boss, that is coming to my house. And my former boss, it is a record in the testimony in Kenyan government courts. The former boss told him, don't go to his house, don't follow that young man. He left there angry. So the boss, according to his statement, he said he knew that he was still around. Then at 2 a.m. as I was sleeping, I heard my door being banged. Then my house help woke up and opened it because the house we were renting, in Kenya we have this house called Swahili house. Swahili house is an house whereby your neighbors, all of you are living in the same corridor. You have only one gate to access the rooms. Now, 2 of the musicians We were renting the same house. So whenever we came late from work, they used to take cold water to my house because I had a fridge they didn't have. So they were putting their cold water in their bottles in my house. When we came late, you know Mombasa is a place where it is too much hot because of the sea. Now, when the door was banged, my house girl thought that it was them who were coming to pick their bottles. So she went and opened the door. Then I heard the voice of the man saying, now I have come. I want you to show me how you will kill me with witchcraft. Because I have come to kill you before you kill me. Because I know you are a witch. What you said, you will do it as a witch. It has been always your job as a witch. So I have come first to finish you. At 2 a.m. at night. The people who came with him, they hide in their houses, knowing that he will beat me because I can't stand him. He was taller, he was big, he was older than me, so I could not even fight with him. So they wanted also him to discipline me because I'm a big mouth. So that's what they thought. So the man started insulting me. Then my wife heard that because when I came, I didn't tell my wife about the incident which occurred in the clubs. That's why I say, I wish I could have listened to my wife. Those things could not happen maybe. Now my wife she woke me up. That is so and so. Why is he insulting you in your house? Then she stood up. She took a towel. She went in the sitting room, in the living room, found him there. She called him, in-law, why are you angry and insulting your brother? Shut up, you are a prostitute. Hey, that thing pains me. Then I said, this is serious. Then I also woke up. Then my wife answered him, you are calling me a prostitute. Have you ever slept with me? I will beat both of you tonight with your husband in this house. I have come to beat your witch husband, and you, if you try to interfere, I will beat you too. Then my wife said, you cannot beat me. You are a fool. Then he pushed my wife on the sofa set. My wife screamed. When I heard my wife screaming, that's when now I woke up. Then my wife get out of the living room. Now she stood on the corridor. The man followed him. When I was coming out, I saw the back of the man following my wife in the corridor to beat her. Then I said, no, it cannot happen. Even if you are big, you cannot do this. To beat my wife in my house and myself, no. I have to do something here. That's where I grabbed him. I don't know where the force came from. The fight started. Because he was big, he drew me down. Where I felt there was some trail of our utensils. Knife was there. Then I saw the knife. I grabbed it immediately. That's my defense now, because this man will beat me. Then I stabbed him here. Chop. Once. When he saw blood, he removed his shirt. He was wearing a white shirt. He covered himself. Then one of the people who came with him, when they heard now it is serious, one of them was trying to look to people. Then she saw him with blood here. She screamed, they are killing each other. Then the others came out. Then the dispersers. He wanted to beat me. Me too, I will kill you today. So those fights continued. Then the dispersers, they took him out of the house. When they took him out of the house, then I said, no, I will not keep quiet. Then I told my house girl with my little daughter, said, no, you'll remain inside. I closed the door. We remained outside, me and my wife, and I took my daughter, who is now almost 24 years. By then, she was 2 years old. I took her with the knife. Said, let us go to police. The knife has some blood there. Then we went to police, because the police was just in the other space there called Kiembeni. It was a booth police. Now it was now 3 a.m. because it was 2 a.m. when he attacked me. He was not living in that house. He just came to discipline me in my house. So I have to do my self-defense. So when I went to the police, I reported the matter. Then I said, this is the knife which I used. Then they said, oh, you seems to be an innocent man. They took the knife. I didn't know that I'm giving the exhibit. So they took the knife. They just wrote down there. They said, go back home. If he comes back, come and tell us, we'll arrest him. Then I went. When we came home, I didn't find them. Then they took him to hospital. So during the medication there in the hospital, the next day I heard that he passed away. When I heard that, the way I heard the news, it was in the morning of the day. I woke up going to the band leader to tell him what happened at night. On my way, I got a phone call from my house girl because my wife has already gone to work. Then, my wife by then was working to an hotel. There's an hotel there called White Sands. There's a shop inside, so she was working in the shop. So I had a call from my house girl saying, Daddy, your friends are here with pangas, machete. They said you have killed your brother, they want to kill you too. They are with police, they are looking for you. They just come here and enter into the house looking for you everywhere. I was in a taxi. Here you call it a taxi. In Kenya we call it matatu.
Yes, matatu.
A Nissan. So I changed the bus. Something came into my mind that, no, he has died. Why did he die? Now, because he has died, I have to kill myself. Now I went to the sea. There is a bridge there connecting Nyali and Backstand. The people who are hearing this, they know the place where what I'm talking about. Now I went to that bridge
To commit suicide.
to commit suicide because I felt bad. Why did he die? I didn't want him to die. Now it is like something came up on me to show me that the person who acted that, it was not you. Now we have left you. Now that sense, that understanding came to me that no, I become now guilty. Why did he die? I didn't want him to die. Even if you see the stab, which I stabbed him, it was only one. It was just acting like he should be afraid of me. But now he is dead, so let me die also. So I went to the bridge. I stood there. Then my phone was calling. Before I jump into the sea, my phone was calling. When I removed my phone, it was our late brother called Justin. He just died recently. Early this year, he just died, that man. He was the one calling me. He had already got the news. He was a teller in town. He said, Junior, where are you? I said, no, it is enough for me. I said, no, why are you saying it is enough? Where are you? I said, leave me alone, it is enough. He said, no, don't do anything stupid. Where are you? He became mad at me. I said, I'm here at the bridge. Doing what at the bridge? I want to kill myself. Why do you want to kill yourself? It was not your fault. You were defending yourself. Even if it could be me, I could do the same as you have done. Don't do anything stupid. Leave where you are. Go where you reported the matter at night. Go tell them what has happened. And tell them that there are people looking for you to kill you. They will protect you. This late man, I cannot say may his soul rest in peace because I'm a Christian. I know the meaning of saying may his soul rest in peace. It is an hypocrisy word.
Sure.
Yes, I'm
You
sure.
don't say it every single day.
Yes. Everybody says may his soul rest in peace. That is an hypocritical word. Nobody has rights to dictate God where to take the soul. When somebody dies, his soul will go where he chose when he was alive. Even if we come all of the bishops of the world praying for that corpse, oh, may so it will not rest in peace if he did not receive the Jesus when he was alive. The soul which will rest in peace are the souls of the believers, those who believed in Christ before they died. That's what the Bible says. God respects the bodies of his own when they died. So, even you don't say that again.
You taught me now.
Oh, his soul, that's an hypocrisy word. This man was a killer. This man was a thief. This man disturbed the society. Now he has died. Then we come, may his soul rest in peace. Which peace? So I am saying this not because of the man I am referring as my late brother who advised me. Because when he died, I could not be able even to attend his burial because I was in another mission for ministry. But my friend and my community in Kenya, they buried him. He was a good man, the way I know, because he advised me well. So I could not jump into the sea. I left it there. Then my mind came, I came to my senses. Then I took another taxi in Uganda, which is Matatu. I got to the police where I reported the matter. When I arrived there, the police which I found there was not the one I reported that night. They have shifted. So I tell them, though, I am the one who reported the case yesterday night here. I have an OB number. This is the OB number, blah, blah, blah. But right now, I heard that the man I reported is dead. Then they say, okay, so we have to put you in cell. I said, no problem. That's how I was arrested. Now, I had them calling the inspector. Because the inspector was with the other police, with those guys looking for me. The police were there to protect me so that they should not revenge on me. But they didn't know that. When the inspector received the call, I had them on radio saying, he's here with us. He's not a bad man. He didn't run away because they thought I've run away. Then the inspector told the people, continue searching for him. When we find him, tell us. I heard on the radio. Then he switched it off. Then they came. Then he came straight to the cell and found me there. Ah, you young man like this, are you the one really did this? Because the man lying in the mortuary, you are two things different. Don't worry. This is manslaughter in Kenyan law. This is you killed in self-defense. They will just sentence you some few years, then you will get out. He started encouraging me. Because if you look at me and the incident, it was two things different. In fact, a lot of people thought that I was the one who has been killed. A lot of fans who loved me, who wanted me the most when I was playing music to them, they thought it was me. They became sad. But when they were following the story, they heard that it was me. They were surprised. How did it happen? So it was like that. So during in my cell, that is my journey of salvation now. That's why I love Kenya. And that's why Kenya is my land. Because in Kenya, I met this man. In Kenya, I met this man called King of Kings, Lion of Judah, who changed my life and made me who I am today. So there in the cell, when it came at, it was around 5 to 6 p.m. when I came. Then at 8, I heard a voice. When I was sitting in the cell like this, because that place was not a police station, it was a police booth. Police station was at least far. Those who knows Mombasa, in Bamburi police station. So I was in Kiembeni police booth. As I was sitting like this, some sleep came up on me. Then I heard a voice calling my name. Lubangi, Lubangi. I answered, yes. When I answered physically like this. My voice was heard by the police on the counter there. Then he said, I called him. In Kenya, we call the officers Afande. Then I called, even here, there's Afande, Afande. He said, what? You are calling me? I am not calling you. Are you sure you hear my voice? I said, yes, I heard you calling me Lubangi. Lubangi said, no. You, it is the blood of the deceased is now disturbing you because you are a killer. Ay, ay, ay. That word crushed my heart. I'm a killer. The blood of the deceased now is disturbing me. Then I sat down and think, it may be true because that man died. So it was, to me, it was like I'm dreaming or it's a movie. It was true, that's the end of my life now. So I started meditating that night. I couldn't get sleep anymore. The next day, it was on Monday now, on the next day, on Monday, they said I'm not supposed to be there because my case is big. I'm supposed to be where I will be well protected. Then they took me now to a police station in Bamburi. That's how now they took me there. Then I entered there. They booked me. They showed me the cell. I went to the cell. I sat down. As I was sitting down in the cell, I slept. The next day, during the day, as I was sitting down like this, a lot of people doing their business inside the cell. People are smoking cigarettes, making stories. Me, I was meditating. This life, how will it be? In a foreign land, accused as a murderer, no father, no mother, no brother, no one. How will it be? Then some sleep came upon me. I heard the same voice again. 3 times, Lubangi. I answered again. I answered louder. All the people there in the cell, they were surprised because I was in a corner myself. So some people were afraid of me. Because you see when someone kills, people think maybe he has gone mad by doing such an act. So some people were sitting there, but carefully. So when I answered, everybody were like, what? Then I said, Afande, Afande. Then the prisoners told me, there is no one calling you. Why are you calling Afande? I said, no, I heard a voice. I stood up. I heard a voice calling me. They started again. You are a killer. Now, this is the start. This is the beginning now of the game. The blood of the deceased is now tormenting. He is coming for you. Hey, I say, my God, this is serious. I couldn't sleep. The next day, the same thing happened to me. But when I answered the 3rd time, it was not louder like this. It was inside of my heart. I answered, yes. Then the voice told me, what are you doing here? I said, I killed. Then the voice said, repent. If you repent, I will forgive you. Even if they sentence you to death, I will forgive you. I stood up. Looking around, everybody's in own business. If I repent, you'll forgive me. I felt like I have no strength anymore in my flesh, in my body. So I have to kneel down. I started crying. Father, forgive. I don't know how to pray. I've never prayed before. I started praying, crying. Father, forgive me. I have sinned against you, blah, blah, blah. I prayed, crying. As I was about to finish to pray, the voice spoke to me now again. I want you to tell these people about me. The prisoners around there. I want you to tell them about me. I could hear the voice, Mr. Chivumbi. I could hear it very clearly. I want you to tell these people about me. Then I said in my heart, how will I tell them? Then I stood up on my knees. Then the prisoners were quiet looking at me. They said, oh, now he wants to become born again after killing his brother. Then I kept quiet. In my house, there was some New Testament Bible, which my wife brought. The people, I saw a Bible in your office today, Gideon Bible. Isn't it? Under the table there, I saw a bag there, some Bible was going down there, Gideon Bible. Those Bibles, the Gideon people distribute those Bibles in hotels, schools, something like that. So they came to distribute those Bibles in that White Sands Hotel. And my wife got the New Testament and brought it home. So most of the time, whenever I am not in my things, in my foolish life of music and so on, whenever something came in me that I should read this book, whenever I grab it like this, whenever I try to open it, my phone could ring. In Kenya, there is these things we call mpango wa kando. A prostitute can call me, Junior, I want to see you. Immediately, I will close the Bible and put it aside. Go. I remember this happened for several times. Why do I want to go back? Because this is an incident which came to me again when now I am in prison. Remembering that God has been calling me long time ago, but I've never been giving him my attention. God wanted to speak to me long time ago. Whenever I grab that Bible, something will come up. I will not read it again. And I remember one time we were playing music in the middle of the night in a club called Jambo Village in Magongo. Because most of the time we played music Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was on Saturday. Now, I remember that night, it was almost 2 a.m. I'm on stage full of people in the club. But I felt tired. I feel like I am tired. When time is going to arrive so that we stop, I go and sleep. You can imagine those music, the guitars and so on. I could hear a voice speaking to me. You will not rest. Even if the time of finishing this job comes, you will not rest. Until you receive me, that is the day you will rest. I was like this. Nobody understood what was going on. I felt like I may become mad. But I never tell anyone about this incident. You know the instrument, when you are, and you know this music of Lingala music, pa, 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 dancing, da, da. But those noise in my heart, I'm saying, hey, it is 2 a.m. When does 3:30 arrive so that we stop? But a voice spoke to me again, you will not rest until the true rest you will get is when you receive me. That's when you'll get a true rest. Hey, I looked around, nobody's hearing it, it's only me. So I kept quiet, we finished the job. I never asked anyone about it because I could not understand what was happening. Then another one was the Bible. Whenever I want to read it, something happens. So when now I am in cell, I remember that Bible. Then my wife came to visit me. I was braiding my hair. I had so many hair, like a woman. I was wearing earrings like a woman, braiding my hair. So when my wife came, I told my wife, there is something I need you to do for me. She said, what? I said, there is a Bible in our house which you brought. I need that Bible. Number 2, I need you to bring a scissors. I want to remove this hair because now I am born again. She looked at me. The first question she asked me was, are you okay? Because it is not normal for you to claim a scissors when you are in cell that you want to shave your hair. Because you know, you must start from the cell. When you go to prison now, that is where they will shave you. In cell, they don't shave because they have to take you to court to read your verdict. If you refuse, if you accept it or not, they send you to remand to start now waiting for your case. Now, when you go to prison, that is where they will shave you. So it was before I go to prison. So I wanted now to shave this hair. I felt like, no, I'm not supposed to be with this long hair, braiding them like a woman. Even the earrings on my head, I said, no, take them. I don't want them anymore. I will never wear them again. Then an officer was standing beside there. My wife looked at the officer. The officer does this. I saw it. But something came in my heart that is not seducing my wife. Is telling my wife to do what I say. I could understood it in my heart. Then I tell my wife, even the way the officer is telling you is the truth. When you bring the scissors, you will not give me, give him. They are the one who will shave me. I don't want to go to prison with this hair. I don't want to step my feet on court with these things in my head because I am now a born-again Christian. I don't want to braid my hair anymore. Okay. Then she brought it. Then they shaved all my hair. The next day, I stayed there almost 2 to 3 months in the police cell because they have to prepare the witnesses and so on. Before they take me to court, they must make sure that they have all the evidences required. So when that was ready, they took me to court now. I accepted the charge. Then, you know, in Kenya, if you have a murder case, the government provide a lawyer for you for free. That's Kenya how they works. If you have a criminal record, like a criminal case like murder, pure murder, they give you a lawyer. The government gives you a lawyer. So Kenyan government gave me a lawyer to defend me because they know the case is very, very critical. You cannot defend yourself. So they provide a lawyer for you. That's how Kenya government works. So they gave me a lawyer for free to defend me. So by the time the lawyer arrived, I was already been called there. So the moment he was entering into the court, already I said, yes, I did it. Then he said, Your Honor, I am here to defend my client. Please, I need some time with him. Then you can read it again. Then he came to me. Why are you accepting this? Say no. I said, no. I'm born again. I'm a Christian. What they are telling me, it is true. I did it. This man came to my house. And I defended myself and I stabbed him. He said, no, I know about it. It is in the files. But you are not supposed to accept it now. Say no. I said, no. We have to go down to discuss with him. He has to challenge me to show me why I should say no. Until I came to my senses, I said, it's okay then. Because I was a fire Christian by then. Because I don't want anything to lie or to go shortcut. I am now a born again. I don't want anything at all. I am ready. Because when I received Christ, when I prayed, he started guiding me how to read the Bible. By then, I was not speaking good Swahili. My Swahili was bad. Even I didn't know English. It is the Holy Spirit who taught me English. Thus, my testimony is too long. But I can just go to bring it together. So, when he convinced me, we came back again. Then the judge said, are you ready now? My lawyer said, yes, he's ready. Then they read it again. Is it true? I said, no. Then he said, you have to go to the doctor, psychiatrist, Nani. No, I went there before. Already the psychiatrist doctor confirmed that I am okay, ready to plea. That's why they brought me now to court. So they told me you have 2 weeks in prison, then we'll come back to hear about the date of your case. Now that's the first day now, they took me now to prison. I entered there, already a born-again Christian. Everybody had, there's a Congolese who has come here as a musician, he killed. Everybody wanted me to hear from me, to talk to me, every prisoners. So when it is evening, we started to pray. When I started singing, everybody started crying in cell, in prison. Every inmate around in our dormitory started crying. Then I was worshiping, they all started crying. Then I asked myself, what is happening? Why are they crying? I've never seen before this. Even when I was in the world, when I am playing Dombolo there, no drunkard man could cry. But why are they crying here? Then I was young now spiritually. I didn't understand what was going on. So that is my journey now, to know God. In fact, there is some songs which I did in prison because I am the first prisoner in Kenya to release gospel music as a prisoner inside of the prison in Kenya. Yes, no any prisoner has ever been allowed in Kenya to record a music, gospel or secular, inside the prison as a prisoner. I was the first one to be allowed to do that. It is there. You can play it. People will see it.
Okay.
You can play it. People can see. What people are going to see there, I did it as a prisoner. Not like I came from outside asking for permission to dance with prisoners. No. As a prisoner. In fact, by then, no camera was allowed to enter in prison. No camera was allowed to enter in prison. No camera. Forget about mobile phones, because those times there were not even mobile phones. It was 2002. No camera was allowed. Then, when visitors come to visit inmates and preach to them, whenever I start singing, they will start all crying. Then I say, I have to record this, I need money. Visitors could say, we will give you money. They gave money to the officer in charge, that this money is for that man, we need him to record these songs. It is not allowed. How will it happen? How are they going to take me out of prison, outside to the studio to record this? They don't know how to do it because they don't know music. Then I told the officer in charge, I want a studio to be brought here. I know what to do. He said it cannot happen in this prison. Then I looked at him like this. I told him, sir, you are not also going to stay in this prison unless it is not God who is talking to you. If it is God who is talking to you, you are not going to stay in this prison. God will bring another officer in charge who will accept his will to happen in this prison, not you. Think about it, I give you 1 week. He looked at me, the officer in charge. He called the officer, who is this young man? He said, no, he's a Congolese. He was a secular musician, he killed his friends, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Then after 1 week, he didn't allow it. He got a transfer. He got the transfer. He was transferred.
We are still on the Senior Citizen Stock of HICGI News Agency. My name is Chivombi Ames Benjamin. This show is brought to you by Cape International Group and Heal the Planet Global Organization in Special Consultative Status with the United Nations. We are still with what we call a prophet from Congo in Mombasa who has just caused a transfer to an officer who refused him to record his music. Let's go.
Yes. So when the officer in charge got transferred, the commissions of prisons brought another officer in charge, which was a woman. Now she's late, Miss Wanini Kireri. I miss that woman so much. She was a good woman. She was a good woman with a soft heart. She loved inmates. She transformed that prison. It was a main prison. When she came, she was introduced to us as inmate. And then after 1 month, I went to her. I got the courage to go to her because she started showing an interest with my team. Whenever visitors comes, they call us to minister to them. Even if the visitors are not religious, any other visitor, the officials from government, even when Vice President came, the former Vice President, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, is now in the opposition. They called me to sing for him.
Ah.
Yeah, even the Minister of what, I forgot, Mr. Chris Obure, when he came, I have the pictures with him. They called me to minister to them. They were so much blessed. So the woman, became, the officer in charge, Miss Wanini Kireri, became so interested with my team. Because my team were those who have been preached to, those who have been saved. Now I formed a choir on my own. Now when I realized that she's interested in us, she loves my team, that's when I got the courage to follow her. I asked her permission to see her. I went to her office. I told her that, Madam, I have something to tell you. She was calling me Lubangi. You know, her tribe, she was a Kikuyu. Now to pronounce Lubangi, or she says Lubangi, the place of L, she put R. What is it, my son? I said, no, madam, I have something I need you to help us. What is it? I said, I want to record my music here with my team. Now the challenge we have, I need a studio from outside to come here. I will do everything because I know how to do it as a musician. Are you sure? That was the first question. Are you sure? I say, yes. Okay. Tomorrow, I'll come to you. Go to the place. Then I went, knowing that now it is done. That's now how it started. You will see her in my songs. All the songs I sang in prison, you will see her. You will see her there. She's the boss, wearing green with those nani here. You'll see her. Miss Wanini Kireri. She's now late. So the next day, the officers came to call me. Come, madam is calling you. She called, she said, what you told me yesterday surprised me a lot. I said, why? She said, you see, I have a dream to transform this place. I want this place to be called as a place of correction, not of punishment. So you are one of the pillars I am going to use for this because you came to my heart. The dream I have, you will help me fulfill it. I say, madam, by the grace of God, it will be done. Then she asked me, why don't you join any sections here? Because in Kenya, prisoners are being trained. Some to be tellers, some to be uh, technicians of so many different things there. But me, I refused. Then she asked me, why don't you want to join any section here? I said, no, madam, I can't lie to you. If I join any, when I go out, I will not do it. It will be a waste of time. So what do you want? So me, I need a Bible college because when I got out of here, my job will be to preach the gospel. That's my job now. I cannot be a carpenter because I can't do it. What time will I get to go and start doing the tables and chairs whereby I have to go somewhere and preach? She looked at me and said, that one, I take a note of it. I will talk to your catechist. Then I said, thank you. But on what we are talking about, how will you do it? Then I explained everything to her. I said, I want you first to come to my practice to see the songs. Then you will allow it. That's how it started. God gave me favor. They allowed it. The studio came in prison. First, one man came. I asked him, a pastor. He was called Pastor Reverend Masai. I asked him, he was coming to preach to prisoners. So I said, man of God, I need a favor from you. What do you want? I said, I need a radio, a big one. I have a job to do with it. Will it be allowed? I said, it will be allowed. Just say yes, you will bring it because you can buy it out there. He said, yes, I will do it. Then I said, okay. Then I told the boss, we need a radio to prepare the song so that by the time studio comes, we'll just give the tape for the producer to go out and listen to how we are singing, then prepare the beat, and he will bring back the beat. Then we start practicing with the beat. So when he comes with his computer, we just put the vocals, he will go and mix them with the beat. That is the song. He said, very easy. I said, no, I'm doing this because it is not possible for us to have enough time to practice with the producer. So they said, okay. The man brought a radio for us. A Sony radio, a big one. It was allowed to enter. It continued like that. We were given TVs in prison now. We became watching TVs. Now the camera came. Now the studio came. I released the songs. God is not a man the way they said it. He's not a human being. Something came up. They said, every year you will be going out to preach and come back in prison as a prisoner. Now it becomes whereby every year with my team, we have to go and conduct a service of thanksgiving outside in a big church called JCC, Jesus Celebration Center, of our father in the Lord, Bishop Lai. People knows him in Kenya, in Mombasa. He's the biggest church in Mombasa right now, a glass cathedral. So we went there the first time. You can see the security, people who have been sentenced to death, going out, almost 30 prisoners.
You were on death sentence?
Yes, by then I was already been convinced, been sentenced to death. So, you could see the security. We are in the bus. In front of us, there are pickups with soldiers. On our back, pickups with soldiers with AK-47 guarding us. But we are going where? To minister in church. From prison as death sentence. Some of my teammates they were sentenced to life sentence. We are going to church to minister. I can give it an example. It is like here in Uganda, in Kampala, a church of like our father in the Lord, Robert Kayanja. Now the prisoners are coming from prison, going to minister to Robert Kayanja's church. And those prisoners, majority of them, 30 years, 20 years, death sentence, life sentence. Now you can see the security there. Because officers don't trust that you are born again. They are doing their job to protect you. So they escorted us. When we arrived, the church is so big. The officers were all over. You think that the president is inside there. It was Lubangi ministering to the people. When we entered, we started ministering. People started crying in church. Then Bishop Lai looked at us and said, my son, I want to bless you. What do you want? I said, man of God, we have an audio album I just released. We need to do a video, but we don't have money. How much do you want me to give you? I said, 50,000 is enough. He gave me 50,000 cash money. I gave them to the officer. We went back to prison. Then they called a video now to come to do a video, which is the song which we are going to play. There are more of songs I did. I did 2 albums by the time I became released. So that is my life in prison. They brought Bible school inside of prison. Madam made sure that the Bible school entered into prison, and it entered. And I ordered the government that as we are going to shoot this video, we are going to sell the name of the government. So we are not going to shoot with these tan clothes. We have to prepare a good one. So you can see the clothes we are wearing as prisoners. We have belt. People bought shoes for us, rubber shoes, white vest, clean, very, we see the song are there. Even though the shooting are for so many years ago, but you can play it a bit for people to see what I'm talking about. That's my life in prison. Up to then, I came to ask God something. Father, you said if I repent, you will forgive me.
You're reminding him after how many years?
No, after I've been in prison for 8 good years, sentenced to death, for 8 good years. So I told God, you said you will forgive me even if they sentenced me to death. God wanted me to test that sentence. Then the Lord said, yes, you are going out now.
It's time to get out.
It's time to get out. As I was telling the enemy of my land that it is your time, God told me, it is time now, you are going out. So I have to write an appeal. That's the procedure. I have to write an appeal after my sentence. Because when you are sentenced in Kenya, you are given 14 days to send an appeal, which I did. When I sent an appeal, it went to the, by then it was the court, the last court in Kenya was Kenya Court of Appeal. So when the case like mine, a criminal case like mine, a case of murder, the case is being done in the court called High Court of Kenya. Now when the High Court sentenced you, you will appeal to Kenya Court, that is the last one. There will be 3 judges will sit down and listen to your appeal and see what you are claiming, if it is right or wrong or false. They have 3 options. They may decide to take you back for a trial, to start afresh. They can decide that. Or they can decide to reduce your sentence, to say it's okay, you were guilty, but the judge was harsh on you. Want to reduce the sentence. If he sentenced you, for example, 30 years, we give it 10, 20, 28, 1, the way they will decide. They can reduce it. Or they may release you, go home. In the appeal, it is like that. So when I appealed, they look at my case, they said, this case, you were sentenced wrongly. You are not supposed to be sentenced to death. This was self-defense. They asked the state council, because now the deceased become a property of the government. So you are doing the case with the government. Not the government of my country, because the deceased was a Congolese also. Not the government of Congo, the government of Kenya. That's where the deceased was residing. They asked him, what if it was you? Somebody attacked you to your house, whom you tried to fight. Because my friend made a testimony that I promised him to kill him after 3 days, which I did. In fact, the first day did not end. I made sure I accomplished what I wanted. So they took it as a murder pure. It was no longer a manslaughter. Manslaughter means you killed without unintentionally. Now, they sentenced me to death. Then the judges said, no. If somebody threatens you that I will kill you, will you follow that person to his house at such an hour? Let's just bring it this way. Right now, I tell you, Kivumbi, I give you 3 days, I will kill you. Then
by witchcraft.
Even if it's not, okay, on my case it was by witchcraft, but he did not die by witchcraft. That is now the techniques of the case with the lawyer. But forget about that. In anyhow, I will kill you after 3 days. Then I go, will you follow me to my house at midnight? And you came with an intention of fight and we fought. Now, the people who changed the testimonies, they made it to look like I was truly a bad person. They are there. They said, when we went there, we went for him to settle down the matter. But he jumped on him and killed. How did I know that he is coming? Because he was not even living in the same plot with me. How could I know that he will come? There is a testimony of the former boss who was his proper cousin. His testimony is there in the record. He said, I forbid him to follow him because I knew if he goes, they will fight. And also he was holding my key. We were supposed to go the same road with him because we are not living together with that young guy. So it came to their attention that it was the intention of the deceased to harm me, to make sure that before I did what I promised him, he must finish first what he wanted to do. Now the judge of Kenya court was elaborating them that way. Then they asked the state council, what if it could be you? What could you do when your wife is being pushed in your own house by someone who you are afraid of? What will you do? This case was not murder pure, was self-defense. Because of that, we give this guy 7 years, not sentenced to death. Now, when the court decided that way, it's over. There is no any other court anybody can go to claim about it. That's how God released me. When I went to prison, prison also said that, to us, you have been a good man in this prison. In fact, you are a trustee. Because in prison, I was the boss. I was living like Joseph in the Bible. In my room, there were TV. I was sleeping in bed. I was the prefect of the other inmates, other prisoners. I have no record of fight inside the prison. That's why I wish if I could get time, I may speak to prison, because I have a prison ministry. I always go to prison and encourage fellow prisoners that where they are, it's a matter of time. It's not that God has forgotten them. God has not forgotten them. You can see it from me. As a foreigner in a foreign land, sentenced to death, and God released me from that. And the government took me to Bible school to make me who I am. I am so grateful to the government. Government of Kenya. They took me to Bible. I am an ambassador of the government of Kenya to prisoners. That's why I am always going to prison every day. Every time I am always in prison. This International Women's Day, I was there. I brought the women gift, food, clothes, so many things in Kenya. In Kenya, prisoners eat well. They eat. Not that much well compared to their houses, but they eat. But when there is a special day like that, the government allows goodwill people to bring something like what they do not get there. So we can buy flour to bring to them, to cook mandazi, chapatis, something like that, because they don't eat chapati there. So when some day like that, we can bring those, and soaps, clothes for children. There are women who are imprisoned, they have children. They have nobody to leave them with their children. So we have to take those gifts to them. So I always go to prison to do prison ministry. I am an ambassador of prisoners in Kenya. So I am the first prisoners who was allowed to release our gospel music in prison, whereby the officers were taking the music and go and sell them out and bring money to us. They never stole any penny from us. Very, very well-trained officers of prison in Kenya. Well-trained, well-disciplined, well-organized. You can imagine. They take our CDs. When they are on their lives, they can take it to the churches and sell it, and they bring money to us. And that team I am talking about, it is still there, up to date. The people I started with, almost all of them are released. The new one have joined the team. The team is still there. Now they have done 5 volumes, 5 albums. 2 are mine, which I did. The 3, they are the songs which they have done by their own. So it's my prayer to God to bless me so that I can make something in prison which will remain as a memorial because of what God did through me when I was a prisoner. Because When I was there, that bishop of JCC, Bishop Lai, Wilfred Lai, our father in the Lord, he gave me money to start to do my first video, which you played. And again, the next year, when we came again, he bought instruments. He bought two speakers, amplifier, mixer, 2 microphones, 3 microphones. He said, my guy, take this one for the gospel in prison. Those instruments are still there. I left them there when I left. I could not take anything because it was for the work of God in prison. So when I came out in 2010, the government now released me. 2010, after 8 years. Because in 7 years, the government removed 3 years and 7 months. I didn't serve all of it. They pardoned me because of the grace of God upon my life, how I behaved inside of prison, how I obeyed the law, how I lived as a good citizen inside the prison, how I became a role model to my fellow inmates in prison. That's when I came to be released, just like that. Now it is your time, go and preach the gospel. And I came out 2010, I joined a small church of a woman of God called Prophetess Josephine Kachekambi. I stayed there for 2 years. After 2 years, then the Lord spoke to me to go out and start what I have now. That's when I left the church peacefully myself and started the ministry, which I am now leading by myself by the grace of God. And I registered the ministry. It's called Shalom Temple Church in Kenya, full registered. And we are there. We are believing in God to bless us to have our own land so that we can build it very well. But we are doing well. And we thank God for the grace. So that is Eugene Lubangi, Apostle.
It's been...
Don't forget, you are the reason I am here again.
Okay.
In Kenya, refugees, we are allowed to have a passport as refugees to travel. I've been fighting to get it because you must have a reason why you need it. If you said you are a businessman, stroke woman, you have to provide your bank account statement, you have to provide license of business so that they can give you that passport. I didn't have any. I've been struggling, how will I get that? But when you became my friend, it did not just become my friend, you became my brother. You sent me an invitation to come to a conference of Dr. Michelle Korol from USA, here in Kampala, last year on August. I took that invitation of yours to the government of Kenya. They looked at it, they said, you are allowed now to get the passport. After almost 10 years.
After 10 years.
Of looking for a passport.
That I gave you.
Yes.
Qualified you.
Yes.
To get a Kenyan
passport. Not Kenyan passport. Refugees passport. Yeah. Because I'm a citizen of Congo. So we have an ID which we use in Kenya as refugees. Registered refugee, we have an ID. So if you have a legal reason, they will give you a passport when you require it. When you provide the document which allows you to have it, they will give it to you without no problem. The Kenyan government, they are trying on their best to treat refugee very well. In fact, recently, they are trying to do what they call integration. They want to abolish all the camps to make sure refugees live with citizens together as one people, as one family, to break those barriers. So the Kenyan government, they are trying all they can, but the problem is the UN.
What is it?
UN is not supporting enough the government. UN should support government enough. Even though the government cannot lack small issues inside there, because there are people who they don't wish well for the country. There are people who we call sometimes, you see those people who love to eat where they are not supposed to eat. They're always there. But the government at large, they are trying to make sure that refugees live peacefully. You see, my fellow refugees may understand this like something bad to them, but I am a man of God. I have to speak the truth and stand by nothing else than the truth. If I was Kenya and you are a refugee, you come to my land, I must protect my people. I must make sure before I give you a, a settled life, first I must know you, who you are. You may be a terrorist. You just pretend to be a refugee so that you enter and destroy my land. So there must be a well prepared and program which will allow me as a government of my land to give you now access to stay with my people. So those processes, sometimes they don't seem to be good to the refugees. But what can we do? It is true. If I was them, I could do the same. But there are still small issues that the government need also to consider. You see, what I am begging or I'm praying for the government of Kenya also is that they should reduce the reasons to release a document to our refugees, because we are not prisoners. They should reduce. We are citizens of our land where we came from. And some of our countries are already in East African community. So if I am a refugee in your country, I am not there for you to punish me or to put me as a prisoner. No. We need free mobility. We need to live as human beings. Let us be allowed to get the documentations which we are supposed to be given without much restrictions. To get a passport, you need this, we need this, we need... Why that? Why all that? Why? Since you know me as a registered refugee in your land, when I need it, why can't you just say, come with your registered ID? If there's any other document they do give us, come with those. Then we check them in our system. If it is genuine, we just give you a passport for you to continue with your life. Of course, we are not going to be Kenyans. We are not there to be Kenyans. You can imagine 28 years in Kenya. I am there 28 years. This does not mean I want to be a Kenyan. No. It does not mean that. But I need free mobility. But through you, God used you to help me so that I can become this flexible to travel here. So when you sent me an invitation, they gave me the passport. And last year I came here in Kampala and we did the conference. I stayed here 4 days. By then I paid a visa, $50, because Uganda was not yet removed the barriers of Congo East African community. But after that they removed it. As I am talking to you, when I came last week, I didn't pay any visa. They just give me 1 month. In fact, they asked me, how many days do you want to stay here? I say, I have a conference of 1 week, but give me 1 month. They said, no problem, sir. They gave me 1 month. That is Your Excellency Museveni. I love that man. So they gave me 1 month. So I am here eating matoke. I came here for a conference which we are having in Semuto village, Chetume there. Yes. And the conference has been so blessed.
Mr. President, I saw that road. I came to that road.
Yes, yes.
Ago. The road is very poor, Mr. President. Work on that road, please.
Please, Mr. President, work on it. We love you. And you know, you are our role model without your knowledge. Eh? Because, as I said before, I do love you from my heart. And by saying this, the treatment I've been given by your people here, your officers from the borders where I crossed, you are a good man. Keep it up, sir. And God gives you more years to live. Because where I came to do my crusade in Semuto village, Chetume village, the road need to be, you can do it, I know you can. In fact, by the way, there are some trucks doing some works there on that same road. Yeah, already something is happening. And not that is not happening at all. But me, I'm from Kenya, Bana. I saw that road. Something is going on. Okay. Yeah, it's only that the president pushed it.
The potholes are so many.
Yeah, the day you came to see me at night, when we are coming today, it was different. Ah. Yes, they are working on it. Okay, they are. So, Mr. President, push harder, push harder. Push those people to make sure that that road is okay. And God bless you. God bless your family. I mentioned something about you, Mr. President, Your
The
Excellency.
freedom fighter for
Yes,
Africa.
yes.
He has fought for the freedom.
I mentioned something about you that God has a reason for you to be alive. And I love you from my heart because what you are doing sometimes, it shows me that you are a true African leader. You are protecting this land by the Western who are trying to bring us issues which are not according to our, we cannot accept it. And we are behind you and we support your decisions. Don't allow this, my servant of God here, to start thinking that he should marry a man. Don't allow that. Put them in cell until they give birth. God bless you, sir. I love you with the love of God. May God bless Uganda. May God bless everybody and each one of you who are listening to this voice. And this is now my brother. I want to steal him, to take him to Kenya so that he can see how His Excellency, I do call him my brother in the Lord. Your Excellency Ruto William Ruto Samoei, yes. I do call him my brother in the Lord.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good man even though he has a lot of challenges, but that is normal. That is normal to any leader. You must face challenges. One thing I like about him, he's ready to face them. He's ready to face them. And that is a true character of a leader. You don't run away from your challenges. You face them as they are, and you make sure things are okay. And in fact, he's doing well also on our side as refugees. Yeah, he's trying to make sure that we are okay. And Your Excellency also, I am coming home in Mombasa. God bless you so much. Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure to host Prophet Eugene Congolese in Mombasa here on the Senior Citizens Talk of HICJI News Agency. His voice is undisputable. His voice cannot be shut down. From his great testimony, how God spoke to him and said, I've come to get you out of prison, because he reminded him of his promise. And now that he is speaking to whoever is listening about the nation of Congo. My name is Chivumbi Ernest Benjamin. On the camera has been Ronald Serada and our guest producer, Don Buana. Until next time.